Welcome to DIY Minded. A short while ago, I got a text from my sister stating, "While we're all in quarantine, can you make a table just like this for our new house? I want it to go behind the sofa against the wall. It will keep my curtains from getting crushed and give me just enough space to stand some pictures." As this was not going to be a piece of heirloom furniture, and it was going to be painted, we're just going to use softwoods. All of the table framework and legs are made from a single 10-foot long construction grade 2x6. One way to dress up this simple table is I wanted some tapered legs. I chose dimensions for the leg that would allow me to get 2 legs out of a single 2x6. To get the second tapered leg the exact same size as the first one, I just simply mark on my jig and then clamp the other piece in the exact same place. Tapered legs, I always make them longer than I need and then trim them to the exact length later. To simplify construction, I want the skirt around the top to attach to a square part of the leg. So I'm going to run this part right here through the table saw so it's square. The next part of the 2x6 is used to make the 2 back legs and 2 of the skirt boards. I opted to keep the rear legs square. You can see here I got the 2 legs and the skirts out of that one board. You can see right here why it's important to remove the factory edge on construction lumber. It is nowhere near straight. The remaining part of the original 2x6 I'll use to make the rest of the skirt boards. I decided to use pocket holes for the bulk of the joinery. Again, it's not heirloom furniture, and it's going to be spending probably the majority of its life behind a couch. A quick tip to ease assembly: I like to clamp a large framing square to my workbench. It makes it easier to square up components when doing an assembly. The back skirt board is installed with the pocket screws flush with the back of the leg. Here I'm using a couple of 3/8 inch thick scraps underneath my skirt board when attaching it. That will give me a nice reveal on the front of the table. The bottom skirt board is attached on the angle part of the leg, so you need to use some kind of a clamp to prevent that from sliding while you put the screws in. I find these pocket hole clamps to be incredibly helpful and very easy to use. The original plan was to do all the joinery with pocket holes, but once I cut these small sideboards, I realized there was just no way for me to be able to get the screws in for these pocket holes. I ended up switching to dowel joints. I've had these dowel liners for years and I've used them here and there. They work fine, but it's definitely a lot of added work. If you're new to woodworking, these dowel alignment pins have got to be the easiest and cheapest way to go. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check them out. It's a little more tedious and time consuming, but the results for the money you spend is unmatched. You just stick it in the hole, give it a light tap, and then drill a hole in the mark. You can see here I'm using the same 3/8 inch scrap to keep the reveal same on the sides as it is in the front. At this point in the assembly, I decided to change things up a little bit. I made 4 of these short side skirts the same size. I decided to move it in a little bit, which is going to require my side skirt to be 3/4 of an inch longer. You'll see the reason for this a little bit later when I slide the bottom shelf in and see how it's going to align. Another thing I did not think about was on this bottom skirt you can see here, if I did 2 dowels, it was going to end up hitting my pocket hole screws. So I had to switch that up and just do 1 dowel in the bottom. With all the dowel joints, make sure you fit everything prior to gluing. The table is so lightweight that I could just stand it up without any of the joints falling apart to be able to clamp it. Moving on to the top and bottom shelf. I've had these cutoffs for a while, sitting on a shelf waiting for the perfect project. If you look close enough, you can see they're actually just the edges of a bunch of construction grade lumber that I've cut up for past project. These cutoffs were all different thicknesses, so I ended up running through the planer in batches. I wanted to give a little more of a random look to the tabletop. I'm going to glue and clamp the tabletop and the shelf at the same time, so I use a couple pieces of tape here to remind me not to glue this seam. If you see my past videos, you'll notice that I use this 4-inch paint roller when I do large glue ups. This is the same roller cover that I've been using for close to 6 months now. When I'm done with the project, I'll pull it off the frame, wrap it tight in some plastic wrap, and store it away till needed next time. It gives a really thick, even coat of glue. After you finish the glue up, put a bunch of clamps on, and then add some more clamps. When you think you have enough clamps, go ahead and add a few more. And then when you think it's good enough, go ahead and add a few more. I'm a firm believer in that woodworking comment that you can never have enough clamps. The next day I take off the clamps, scrape off the excess glue, and run both boards through the planer. A planer is not necessary in a project like this, but it definitely makes things easier. Starting with the tabletop, I clean up one edge on the table saw, then I rip it to the correct width. I'm not going for a rustic look, so on the glue up I made sure that my outer boards were as clean and knot free as possible. I wanted the bottom shelf to set inside of the 2 tapered legs, so I had to cut a notch out of the front of the shelf. Although I have a lot of power tools that could do this, it's easier just to grab a handsaw. There are some real craftsmen out there that are absolute artists with a handsaw. That's not me, so I just clamp a board on the front of my shelf to use as a guide for my saw. My father used to say, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn once in a while. That's how I was feeling when I slid this bottom shelf in, and everything fit perfect the first time. The top and the bottom shelf are going to be attached with some homemade tabletop clips. I want those recessed into the top skirt, so here I'm using a bit to recess this washer, and then I will drill 2 holes in the washer to attach later. The base is going to be painted, so I putted any nicks or scratches or dings and around some of the larger knots to give a better finished product. I hand sand the tabletop and the shelf to 220 grit and lightly ease the edges with sandpaper. When hand sanding the base, I want to protect any perpendicular grain from getting scratches, especially when staining, but also helps with painting. So I use a thin piece of sheet metal or a putty knife to protect that grain. The entire base gets a thorough hand sanding, and then I slightly ease all the edges with sandpaper. On to the finishing process. I custom mixed this stain for my sister. I always stain everything, even the bottom of the shelves. No one else might see it, but I'll know it's done. After the stain dries, both boards get multiple coats of a hand-rubbed satin polyurethane, with sanding in between coats. I'm going to end up spraying the base, so I put a couple screws in the bottom just to hold it off of my drop cloth and prevent it from sticking. Altogether, the base ended up receiving 5 thin coats of paint. I prefer to go multiple thin coats than one thick coat. I end up sanding between coats for a nice smooth finish. When everything is dried thoroughly, I install my homemade tabletop clips. Make sure you pre-drill, because there's nothing more frustrating than cracking a project this close to the finish. This is my favorite part of a project like this, when I'm doing a stained top and a painted base, is when I finally put them together, I can step back and see what the final part is going to look like. Again, when attaching the top, make sure that you pre-drill all of your holes. And trust me from experience, make sure your screws are not longer than your material is thick. So here's a picture of what I was asked to make next to my finished project. Thank you for watching DIY Minded. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it on social media.